So, why would I make a character like Captain Russell Anchor? Being a DM, I don't really get that much of an opportunity to play. So, when my friends kind of said that they wanted to run some one-shots and some little adventures here and there, and I was kind of dipping my toes into a couple of campaigns that friends were running, I really wanted a character that I could kind of keep and play throughout all of these stories together. When I was sitting down to make Russell, I kind of had that in mind, that it was going to be a character that I was going to be playing for quite a long time. I drew a lot from some other characters that I'd played before. I'm someone who likes to play barbarians. Most of the time I've played Russell, he has been a barbarian. But I do like to switch him up a little bit between one-shots and adventures that I play him in. He's a big, muscly fella. He's huge, he's large, he's loud. So most of the time he's a barbarian, which is my favourite class. It has been since I started playing the game. The first BBG that I ever sat down and designed was essentially a barbarian. But when I first made him, I didn't really give him too much because I wasn't really going to be playing him in, one story for a long period of time. I was going to be playing him in lots of little stories over a long period of time. So I didn't really kind of go into it with much of a, this is who he is, this is where he's from, this is all of his story. He was very much a character that I had a little bit of information about him. He was a pirate, and he sailed the seas, and he plundered villages and towns, and he stole from the rich and gave to himself. And that was mostly what I had when I kind of first created him as a character a long time ago. And that was kind of on purpose, really, because, if you ever played D&D or you've played lots of one-shots before, every one-shot is different. All of the kind of the backstory and the reasoning for being in a particular place for a one-shot is always different. So I was like, I'll give him kind of a baseline bit of lore, and then every little one-shot or adventure that he's on, I'll just make up some random reason why he's there. So he's kind of a bit of a character that just jumps around, and he's a little bit chaotic and a little bit all over the place, which transferred a lot to his actual character and the way he acted in game. He is a little bit kind of sporadic, he's kind of all over the place, he says the randomest shit ever, and he's just really quite fun. He just makes up the most bullshit things that you've ever heard of. I mean, I could sit here and list off millions and millions of things. One of my favourite things that I did with him, it was actually last year at this point, I played him in a one-shot that one of my friends ran. And so yeah, we start the one-shot, everyone else's character gathers around a campfire one by one, and then the last to show up is Russell. I describe him as I always describe him, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's Russell, but I described him as having green face paint on. And throughout the entire one-shot, he was insistent that he was not Russell. He was a man called Jack. And it's just so funny because he kept slipping up and he was like, yeah, I'm captain. Oh no, I'm not captain. Silly me. He just does so many random things, and it kind of came across in his character that he is a little bit all over the place. But that's what makes him fun to play, for me. But for Earthad, I've completely recreated his backstory from the ground up. He's coming in with a clean slate. He's not done any of those crazy things from the one-shots I've had him in prior. He's just the same character, but with a fully fleshed out backstory. Built him up from ground zero, built his childhood friends, built his family, built everything around him. And it's really nice to actually kind of make him a real, a real character, not just kind of this man in the middle of nowhere who's not really tied down by anything. I mean, granted, he's still not really tied down by anything in the world of Earthad, but he now has a full backstory, he's got a full history to him, and there's a full progression of where Russell might like to go in the future, which is really fun, and it's, what I've been looking for a long time, is to have a character who I can play out a narrative for. And I think Russell, he's been with me for so long, I've had him tattooed on my arm, and I really just think Russell finally deserves one long story that he can really, sink his teeth into.